to the Spark Show, where we got comedy, news, and two forgettable digs.
With Sparks.
You've got tiny wrists.
Pike.
Hates French toast and your children.
You know, I woke up and I'd forgot that I burned myself badly last night on the oven. So,
oh, no.
You can see that, but.
No, hold on. Let me get a full shot. Let me see that. Oh, hold your arm up there. Oh, man. I see it. The big mark.
Like all the way down the.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like third degree, but, you know, it's painful.
It's a degree. It's at least a degree.
Yeah, it registered.
Yeah.
On the scale.
Oh.
I was reaching in the oven, which, you know, that increases your chance of getting burned pretty significantly.
Yeah.
And it was because of frozen pizza. You know, you throw it in there, and it kind of like slid off what I was throwing. It went all the way to the back of the oven. I'm like, oh, that's not too deep back there. I don't know. Is it bad? I'd probably cook the same. But in my head, I'm like, oh no, I like that thing to be right in the center. So
yeah.
I start reaching in there, and the racks, of course, are super close. So I'm playing a little game of operation.
Yeah.
And then in the process of that, thinking to myself, well, this is risky. My arm on the door of the oven, like out of nowhere, the door is now a factor.
Oh, yeah.
Presses up against it. And that thing is, because the oven is preheated now to 400 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Very hot.
Wow.
So I went, and it is still red, piping hot.
You run under cold water? You run it under cold water?
Yeah, but you can't unburn a burn. You know, my wife said that too, and I was like, "Yeah, it makes it feel better for a moment, but it's not going to fix it."
No, doesn't fix it, but it does feel better for a moment. You're right, and you'll take that moment at that time. You'll take that moment.
Oh yeah, I got an ice pack out. That really helps.
That does help. Yeah, I'm sure that's what.
So
they
anyway,
say. Yeah. Well, good. I hope it heals. And I hope you lose your feeling in your arm there, because that, you know what I mean? How many times do you put your arm down on something that it's either too hot in your car, you know, when the sun's burning it and everything, you put your, you know, I hope you lose all your feeling in that part of your arm. And then you're like invincible.
Good point.
You know?
Yeah. There are parts of my body I wish didn't feel.
Like your soul. I understand.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wish that no longer felt anything. Yes. That'd make life a little easier. Yeah. Hey, well, welcome to the show.
Wow.
Yeah, that right there is non-financial advisor at Pike Taylor Radio. He's got a little bit of a red arm. He's been caught red-handed. You can follow him on all social media at Pike Taylor Radio. He is not a financial advisor, but he loves himself some finances. I am at Sparks Radio, also not a financial advisor or a financial professional, just a fan of money and how to get some more of it. And this is a comedy finance podcast. We like to think it's one of a kind. We like to think it's never been done before, because all these nerds that always talk money are boring and they suck. So
bunch of losers.
We don't. They're definitely winners. They definitely are winning at life more than we are. But having as much fun.
No.
You know, it's almost like winning the game of Monopoly. By the end of it, sure, you want to win, but are you having fun anymore? Right? It's in day 3. There's only you and one other person left. There's hotels on every corner, and you're just going around and around exchanging cash, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's not fun anymore.
I don't know. I've never actually won that game.
Well, then you're on the right podcast, Pike. You're on the right.
That's right.
Right show talking about finances. Yeah, exactly. We got a special one today, man. I'm really looking forward to this one, because we're going to be talking about something that some people, dude, they wholeheartedly invested. Like, they just quadruple down, and they go, this is my life now, and this is what I'm doing. And they just abandon all of societal norms, and they just roll deep. And I don't know why I'm prefacing it like you didn't read it, because it's the goddamn title of today's episode. The 4% rule. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the 4% rule. Pike, I'm not sure if you're aware of the 4% rule. Are you?
Not the rule. No, not a chance. No.
You're aware of the percentage. 4%.
I've heard 4%.
Okay.
But in the context of some financial rule, I've got no idea.
All right, well, man, I cannot wait. Maybe after we're done talking about it, I'm going to get your take. Is Pike going to abandon his current life situation and start working towards the 4% rule? And then just, subscribe as if this is his new religion. This is his new doctrine. This is it. Well, we'll see. All right?
I am kind of a sucker, so if you do a good job of convincing me, I'll probably do it. For a couple weeks. Great job.
However, I am also going to talk about the pros and the cons of the 4% rule. I'm going to give it to you straight, bro. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and paint it in a perfect light. All right?
Okay. Give it to me.
Yeah. Well,
not now.
I will. Yeah. In the middle of the show is really where we put.
I'm familiar. Yeah, we'll wait till then.
Pike understands how we format this stupid thing. Yeah.
But why don't you give me a little cue when it's time, and I'll go give it to me again.
Okay. Yeah. How about you know how we have Jesus approves on this?
Jesus approves.
Maybe we should. I should just take that graphic and make it financial Jesus approves. I'll put him in a little suit or something. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. I like that. That's not blasphemous at all.
Well, weren't we going to do the dollar llama? I still have to make that graphic instead of the Dalai Lama. Who's the dollar llama?
Yeah. That's better.
And what was the bad thing? There's a financial... I wrote it down. It's here somewhere on one of these pages. Financial fugazi. That's what it was. When something was a bad thing.
It's a fugazi.
That's it. Yeah. All right. I got to make those graphics still. We'll bust those out. So yeah, we're going to get to the news that matters. We're going to get to the 4% rule. You're going to absolutely have your mind blown if you've never heard about the 4% rule. And then we'll talk in depth about the pro. Ask you this.
Okay.
On average, how long do you wear a pair of underwear? Like how you're not like a day. I realize that you probably shower once a day, which is, I would recommend. But once you get the underwear for Christmas or something, how long does it last you?
Oh, before you throw them away.
Yeah.
Okay. Quite some time. I want to say I've tried to now at this point in my adult life, maybe I would give it 2 years.
Okay.
It's probably about right.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to start talking in years because I am right there with you, dude.
Oh, dude, there was a time where I was wearing, as an adult, this pair of boxers that I got from my girlfriend in 8th grade for Christmas. I mean, they were totally bottomed out. It was like I was wearing a freaking like little tablecloth. There was no support. So I'm doing better.
Yeah. Like, if you ever thought, man, if I get pants right now, the embarrassing thing wouldn't be my pants to pull down. The embarrassing thing would be the type of underwear I'm wearing right now.
Well, neither of those would be the embarrassing thing, but...
Ugh, awful. Ash trash booty cheeks.
Why?
Oh, it was a small dick joke.
Oh, it was a small dick.
But
okay.
You're right.
Dude.
The underwear is still on, then you're right.
The underwear is what people couldn't... Yeah, dude. It would be like... God, I'm like a person from the waist up. Below, it's like, man, what were you trying to mummify your... junk? What's going on? It looks like a tattered... Were you entombed? It looks like a flag that was waved during the Civil War. Like something was happening. Do you have a moth infestation in your pants? It's all bad, dude. I was just looking through my underwear this morning, and I'm looking around. I'm like, what happened? What happened to my underwear? Was there an acid spill in the drawer?
Yeah.
Do my balls leak acid? I don't understand what's going on here.
You got the little holes forming where your testes would rest? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? I wear boxer briefs, and sometimes they ride up. So you got to take them and you got to pull them down, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the first to go. It's the elastic band around my thighs. I must have really fat thighs because as I push them down, that rips, right? It like tears. And I'm like, uh-oh. So it begins.
So what are you at? Are you in years too?
I must be. In order for the friction of my nads to wear a hole in a piece of clothing, like that has got to take years. It's like
How often are you
geologists.
shaving your balls?
Well, yeah, even then, I don't know, dude. It's like, it's just the friction. It's the skin on fabric. Dude, honestly, geologists should study this erosion. Like I get it. You're studying rivers and you're like, oh, these rocks are a million years old. You should study the rate at which underwear erodes on a ball sack because it is frighteningly fast. I can't believe it.
It feels more important than the rivers. You've been doing that the whole time. And where has that got us? Do something useful.
Yeah. Study these rocks because there's an epidemic
These rocks.
in male underwear erosion. I don't know what to do. Dude, I swear to God, my underwear is older than most of my shoes I wear. It's just...
Oh, same. I don't know how old your shoes are, but my shoes don't last long.
No, not at all. It's crazy. All right, there it is. I'm done.
I'm finished.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. If you had prosthetic legs, both of them, do you think you would take those off before having sex? Or would you leave them on?
No, they're coming off.
Really? No, I'm not. How about not in like a married sex situation? Like a one-nighter. So like you still have her judgment to be determined, I guess.
What you mean is I still have her expectations, is what you're saying. Because once you're married, they understand what's happening. They understand
They're
the
coming
level.
off if you're married.
Yeah, the level of performance has been established greatly.
Exactly.
They're well aware of what the caliber of of a love session they're about to have. Yeah.
Yeah, there are no surprises.
None. So let me ask you that legs or no legs? I'm going with no legs still. I'm going with no legs. Hey, look, I'm tall enough. I'm usually on my knees. I mean, if you're changing up positions, unless I'm standing next to the bed, or you got to think, what am I using my legs for? What's going on here?
Yeah. Well, obviously that position is out the window if you're gonna go no legs. If you're going sans prosthetics.
What am I? Am I from the kneecaps down, or am I going?
Yeah, I'm picturing like maybe right above the knee, even.
Yeah.
So
luckily, I'm tall enough, dude. Like I'm mostly legs. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you think you can still hit it doggy without legs?
I do.
You do think?
Yeah. Well, because I'm not standing up doing doggy style.
I know.
You know?
Hey, listen,
I'm
I
not trying
know
to
how
paint
the
the
sex
ceiling.
goes. Okay? You don't need to explain to me.
Pike, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I don't know if you're standing up.
In like a like an athletic crouch.
In bed. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you look like Pudge Rodriguez back there. I'm not sure what's happening.
In a way.
Yeah, take my legs off.
Okay.
Take my legs off.
All right,
I don't care.
But I'm just saying that's like an embarrassing probably minute or however long it takes to detach. And I don't know if you got like you just throwing them to the side, or is there like a case you put them in? Like, this is all stuff that needs to happen.
If I'm about to do that with someone who I am unfamiliar with, I'm throwing everything off to the side. You kidding me? I'm like a man whose clothes are on fire. There's just, it's like I'm running into the ocean. Yeah, like a madman who's lost his mind. I'm just Clothes are just being shredded off my body. Doesn't matter. Throwing prosthetic limbs? Absolutely. I don't care.
All right.
And by the way, it's
I
not
respect
like,
it.
or, you know, if you lose your legs, there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Absolutely not. I don't. No,
You got your hands, dude.
Trust me.
These are what matters. This is what really matters in life. Don't get me wrong. I want my legs. I love my legs, and I don't want to get rid of them. But if I did, you got to look on the bright side. I still have my hands, okay? You lose both arms. Now I'm feeling bad for you.
Well, we went to this baseball game, the spring training game on Saturday, and one of the like attendants, you know, the old guys that are kind of like just telling people where to sit, he had no legs. And I don't mean prosthetic legs. I mean, there were no sign of legs. Like he was just propped in a wheelchair.
That's sad.
That it was super sad. And I had to ask him a question, and it's like, God, it's all you're thinking about, obviously. How could you not? But I'm like, I talk to this guy the exact same way you would talk to anybody else.
Well, yeah,
I think I did okay.
Guy.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying, but you still have to have that conversation in your head.
I don't have that conversation in my head. I don't.
Okay, but you're still thinking about it.
No.
You see that guy, and you don't like, it doesn't take you a minute to go, oh, yeah, he doesn't have any legs, does he? No, you see him and immediately think, number one, this is a guy with no legs.
Yeah.
Then you go on to realize other things about it.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting there going, oh, I got to treat this guy differently. All right. I got to make sure. You know who I do that to is people with lazy eyes. Lazy eye people, it's hard. It's real hard to have a conversation with some. I stare right in their forehead. That's what I do. I look right in the middle of their dome because I don't know which eye is the wandering one. I can't tell if they're not paying attention to me, or if they're like looking around like, yeah, you got to go over there. Or they're like looking right at me. I'm not. Is this person intentionally making eye contact? Or is that the lazy, you know? I don't know. I stare right at their forehead.
Yeah.
And I always have to tell myself, stare at the forehead. But if you got no legs, I don't give a shit. I'm just like, dude, where's C29? Because that's my seat. Where are we going here? I don't care.
Okay. Well, you think about shit less than I do.
What row are you in? I'm in L. L. Spell the word legs with L. L as in legs.
L as in legs. L25. L2 as in two legs. 5 as in, well, just a traditional 5.
Just a traditional. Boy, did you travel far? You're like, boy, nah, it was. Well, during the first leg of the journey, it was pretty tricky. During the second leg of the journey, I really did miss the first leg.
Well, that's nice. Glad you made it here.
Yeah, thank you. I was watching a basketball game. Let me just say they were breaking ankles there with some of these crossovers. It was amazing.
Oh, interesting. No, you're also a fan of baseball then, it appears?
Yeah. Why? Because everything is measured in feet in baseball, which I'm a fan of. Big fan of feet. It's imperial system.
I like when they throw a good curveball and it makes the batter's knees buckle.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's my favorite.
That is really, really great, you know? And I love
in fact, I just like having knees.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. But everything in baseball just involves either running or walks or home runs.
Owie. Yeah, I don't know about this. What if that guy's listening?
People with no legs cannot listen to podcasts. We all know that, Pike. Thank you very much. All right. Well, hey, if you are not offended by no leg jokes, well, then, look, that guy's just perfectly fine. He's probably got some prosthetics at home and just wanted to wheel around for the good parking spot. So there you have it. Yeah, you got nothing wrong. Thanks for being here. It's a financial podcast. We're going to get to it.
He's an employee. It's decent parking.
He wanted a handicap spot. What?
I'm telling you, I don't know what the prosthetics would look like because it was like where his t-shirt ended was where he ended.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay, never mind. Oh, I thought he just had like some nubs down. I thought he had like a Lieutenant Dan, like one of those.
No, he wasn't. There was nothing to sit on. There's no other way to describe it than he was plopped on a chair.
He's like pirate ship amputee, like one of those guys that you see swabbing the deck kind of thing.
Yeah, well, without the wooden peg legs either.
Yeah. Oh, that's brutal. Now I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you got enough of a leg, you're fine. Like, the jokes can flow, but less and less jokes can start flowing once it gets up to your waistline.
Yeah. Well, then you got to wonder, like, how are you even alive? Like, that's a medical miracle, really. Because don't you got a lot of, like, intestines and things that are kind of crossing over into that region?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you just stuff them all up? Does he have... Now I'm wondering if he has a penis even.
Hey, you know what? As much as you're stuff them all up there, thank God Pike is not a doctor. Logic, which makes sense. But yeah, that's a normal thought. Now I understand why you're like, okay, I need to approach this.
Do not ask him about whether or not they stuffed him up there or not.
Sir, did the doctors treat you like a sleeping bag the morning after where you're just trying to pack that shit in and get home? Oh, no. All right. We got to get off this subject, man.
Yes.
Let's walk away from what we're talking about here. All right. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for being here. Love it. If you are the first time listening or watching this show, youtube.com/SparksRadio. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. That is a huge thing. Drop a comment if you could. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, we absolutely love the reviews. Give us 5 stars and then write whatever you want as a review, and we'll read it back here on the show. So shout out to everyone giving comments and reviews over there on Apple Podcasts. You'll find the link in the show description. All right, there you have it. Today is about the 4% rule. And Pike, are you ready? We're jumping into it, my friend.
Oh, give it to me.
All right, here we go.
I forgot about that part.
The 4% rule and how you can quit your job with it. And you're like, whoa, what? Quit my job. Here's how it works.
Interested?
The 4% rule is it's not something set in stone. So when I talk about the 4% rule, don't think that, I have to get 4% and then I'll be all right. I'll be fine for the rest of my life. It's not set in stone. It's quick math to kind of give you a little bit of a framework on how to retire. Okay, so this is something that the FIRE community uses a lot. FIRE community stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. If that makes any sense?
It does.
All right. So what they do is...
I think meant firefighters.
Oh, yeah. No, they have pensions.
Yeah, they retire early as well.
They
but
do.
Not because of the 4%, yeah.
No, because of lung cancer. But it's true.
Tell us how you really feel. Jesus.
No, one of my best friends is a firefighter. He's like, yeah, 55. They don't want you going really past that age because it significantly increases your chances of lung cancer because you're dealing with smoke all the time. You're dealing with all these carcinogens, and it's getting better though because they people are aware of it now more so than before.
The equipment's better, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was a firefighter.
Is he retired?
He is, yeah.
Is he over 55?
Yeah, he is. He's 60 even.
60 and retired. See, that's not a bad life. That's cool. Firefighting's awesome. It's a badass job. You're out by 55, dude. Sounds good to me, man.
Oh, it's a hell of a gig. I mean, we can go into detail about how, they work 24-hour shifts, and most of which you're like watching TV or taking naps. Yeah, you have to get up all throughout the night to go help a overweight lady get out of the bathtub.
Yes.
Or walk into a burning building. You never know.
Never. It really ranges. Yes.
Yeah. But the 24-hour, like, you're only working 3 days out of 9. The rest of the time, you're just at home. I mean,
I know.
There are some perks.
Definitely some perks. My buddy I don't know how he does it now, but it used to be, 24 on, 48 off. So every one day you work, you get 2 days off. And then every third rotation of that, you get 5 days off.
Oh, yeah. My dad had the 4-day. Call it the 4-day.
The whole 4-day.
And so think about it, you get this vacation time. All you have to do is take like 2 days off, and now suddenly you've got 9 days off because of how it's built already. I mean, like, he didn't work in the summer once he got to be a senior member. Yeah, it was insane.
Oh, man. Yeah, definitely some perks there. Also, some cons because, the danger situation.
Of course.
A lot of inherent risk. The 4% rule, not as dangerous. And I'll go over what that means here. What am I talking about? Here's how it works, okay? Here's the basic sense of the 4% rule. So what some really smart people have done is they looked at the average of the U.S. domestic market, stock market, right? So when you're looking at over the course of 100 whatever years of the U.S. stock market, what has happened, including the crashes, including bear markets and bull markets and everything, just on average, factor everything. What happens is there is an 8% growth year after year. So they just looked at it. They're like, okay, so this thing is constantly growing at 8% on average. And of course, average isn't set in stone. That's not, if I say, hey, Pike, the average 35-year-old makes $200,000 a year, you're going to be like, wow, I feel like a piece of shit if you don't make $200,000 a year. Or if you make $200 million a year and you're 35 years old, you're going to be like, wow, what are all these poor assholes doing? That kind of thing. But it's an average because you have, Mark Zuckerberg, who I think at the age of 35 was a billionaire. Then you have,
right,
me at the age of 35 in his parents' basement. So you have the average. I like how I'm explaining averages to you. Like you don't already know. So the average year after year is 8%. So what you do is if you invest into the entire stock market, not individual stocks, if you invest in the entire stock market, your money theoretically should also grow 8% year over year. Okay, so this is why we start getting into index funds. We start talking about index funds and VTI and VTSAX and that kind of stuff, which is the tickers for Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. So what you end up having is 8% grow year after year. So where does the 4% come in? Well, if you got all this money in the market, there's like 3 things you can do with it. You can leave it in the market and let your money grow. You can pull the whole thing out, take all the money and run, or you could just take out a portion of that money you have in the market. And that third option is where the 4% rule comes in. Because if the market's growing at 8% on average, and then if you were to cut that rate in half, 4%, right? Half of 8 is 4. And you take out 4% every single year, your money will automatically regenerate. You won't have to put a single cent back into the market if you just skim off the top 4%. Does that make sense? That 4% that you've left will then regenerate back to the 8%. You just keep cutting the cream off the top, right? You just keep skimming.
Yeah. So let's say you put $100 in. After a year, let's say it goes up 8%. You got $108. So you're going to take $4 out of that. Okay. And then after another year, it's going up another 8%, which would be what, something like 100 and fucking 13 or something.
Yeah, it's hard for me to do math, but yes, yeah.
Nobody here was going to give me 8% of 104 off the top of their head, but I assume it's a little more than 8 from the previous equation.
Right, but you are just skimming off the top. Exactly. So your money just keeps regenerating. Essentially, you're living off the interest, right? It's not really interest, it's market gains and that kind of stuff. But you're essentially living off what's going on.
So now you got a fresh $4.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, yes. So it's constantly coming back. It's like a haircut or Pike's ringworm from when he was a wrestler. It's just once you're done with it, you got another case and it's right back and you're always taking care of it. Right?
You're mistaking my early incorrect diagnosis of herpes. Okay. That comes back. Turns out it was ringworm, which thank God is a fungus, which does go away if treated properly. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. So, it just keeps coming back. So the idea I thought of was a little bit different. So, all right, you've calculated your monthly expenses, right? How much does it cost to be you a month, right? So always goes back to your budget. That's why your budget is super important. So it always comes back. So you've calculated your monthly living expenses. Pike, it costs you $3,333 a month to live as Pike, as you. Okay?
Yeah.
For example. This means that it costs you $40,000 a year to live. Now, we're talking post-tax, obviously. $40,000 to live at the current rate you are living if you have a monthly expense of $3,333. So, and I'm doing this with really easy numbers because, again, I'm horrible at math. So what you do is, as soon as you can live on $3,333 a month and go, this is my life now, once you save $1 million, you can live off of your 40 grand a year, which means if you have $1 million in the market invested, then you can take out your 4%, which is your 40 grand a year. Did this make sense?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So if you have $1 million in the market, it's always going to regenerate 80 grand every single year. It's going to regenerate $80,000. You take your 40 from that 80. By the time the next year rolls around, another 40 would have regenerated. And then you take that and you just keep skimming it off the top. So
that's so interesting because I never thought about, like, everyone's like, oh, how much money do you need to retire? And they say like $1 million. I'm like, God, even that though, if you plan to live another 20 years, I'm like doing the math. I'm like, that's not a ton of money, but you never consider, or I didn't anyway, that the money's regrowing.
The money is going to be constantly, or hopefully the money's constantly growing in the market as well. So you're keeping up with inflation. Theoretically, you're keeping up with inflation. This is all theoretical, right? So you're keeping up with inflation. It's regenerating. Now we'll dive into the pros and cons of it. So you got your 40 grand a year. Your current living expense is $3,333. You get $1 million in the market. You've chucked deuces at your job, and you are good for the rest of your life. Some people, Pike, now going back into, financial Jesus or the
Jesus approves.
The financial, the dollar llama, you know what I mean? Like, they are going to subscribe to this 4% rule and then walk and then do it. So essentially, they're just doing the rat race until they hit $1 million. Right? They're living frugally. They're trying everything in their damn power. This is what the fire community is all about. I got to make more money. I got to lower my living expense. And keep in mind, this is $3,333. I'm going to talk about the pros on how you can lower that to get to your, what they call FI number, your financial independent number, or your FIRE number, to fucking bounce your job and go live scot-free for the rest of your life. Once you hit that number, you're good to go. Theoretically.
Damn.
So here we go. Let's talk about the pros and the cons. Who do you want to start with? Let's start with the drawbacks here, okay? It sounds really easy to do. the 4% rule. And again, it's just a framework, but it's more complicated than that. You're going to have to ask yourself some questions like, is this the way I'm going to live for the rest of my life? Right? Because you're calculating this whole thing based on your current living situation.
Okay. Yep.
You're living on $3,333 a month now. What are you going to be living on in the future? Do you want kids? Do you want to be married? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to have financial goals? Do you want to do all this kind of stuff? If you're single, no kids, no dog, living in an apartment, and you're like, no, I'm happy. This is me for the rest of my life. I'm not going to have kids. Then this number kind of works. But if you think that you're going to have kids and you're going to have to save for college for them and you're going to have to do all this shit, well, then that number is probably going to increase.
Yeah, that's a good point. But people, I mean, if you can save for your kids' college, great. But like, how many people went to college and said, oh, I don't have to pay for this because my parents saved?
I agree,
I
dude.
fucking didn't.
I always think that my parents helped me out with some college, but
right,
90% of my college was student loans, which I was paying for the preceding like 12 years. And don't get me wrong, That's not great. You're burdening yourself with debt and all that kind of stuff. But I do feel like, dude, I mean, come on, kids, they're not kids. They're now becoming adults. They have to have some kind of financial stake in their education, or else they're going to take it for granted, just like everyone takes high school for granted and all that shit. You know what I mean? Where, it's just school, it's free, it's whatever. No. Yes. Once you start paying for those classes, you start taking them a little more seriously.
Absolutely. I don't want them to go to, oh yeah, my parents are paying for this, so, well, I'm going to go party at college and fuck around for a few years and decide I don't want to do any of this.
Totally agree.
Well, congrats. Way to save your whole life so your kid can go join Rimatimify and take a few beer bongs.
I know. Sleeping through every class in the morning. It's an 8 a.m. fucking still throwing up from the night before. Meanwhile, 20 years ago, you were pinching every penny, slaving away at 2 jobs. You're like, I gotta get my kid to college. Your kid doesn't even exist yet, and you're sitting there miserable in life. Yeah, so this kid can piss it away. Yeah, thanks a lot. Fucking Derek, piece of shit, son. Fucking asshole.
That kid.
God damn it. Goddamn trash bag. Can't believe I raised such a trash human. Look, so you got your living situation. What is it going to be in the future? That kind of shit. You also have, what do I do if the market crashes? Right? So the markets, they go up, they go down. Obviously, you have some large anomalies, and by that I mean crashes that do take place. 2008, Great Recession. You had the Great Depression. You have there was a crash in the 90s, crash in the 80s, crash in the 70s. There's always a crash. It's how it happens, right? They call it a market correction. So what do you do in that situation? Well, for every market correction, there's usually a bull run. There's usually, record highs in the market. What I think is a smart play would be, instead of just taking 4% and having more money left over, what you could do is you could take that money, you can take out your 40 grand and live off that. You can keep a portion of your 4%, because if the market's going up, your 4% is in 40 grand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you keep taking out that 4% and you put that into high yield savings account. You can, you know what I mean? So that way you start getting a little bit of an emergency fund built up. And that way, when the markets do crash, you can now live off of your savings that you have in your high yield savings account. So during bull runs, you take advantage, you pocket the cash. And then during bear runs or market corrections, you start living off your savings. So there is ways to kind of cushion yourself, insulate yourself from market crashes and market corrections, which is a pretty cool thing, I think. What happens if I run out of money? You got to ask that. What if I go crazy on spending? What if something happens and I start spending a lot of money? Taxes. I got to pay taxes on all this, right? Because these are probably on taxable accounts. These aren't in Roth IRAs. These aren't in 401ks or, SEP IRAs, that kind of stuff. Healthcare. What am I going to do for healthcare? Do I really want to live in a world where I'm constantly pitching every penny, where I'm like, oh no, I got 40 grand to live off of. Is this what I want to do? Should I get that beer? Should I not? Do I want to pay tickets for the ball game? Do I not? Christmas is at the end of the year. Questions. Yeah, what am I doing here? That kind of thing. So you got to think about that. Is that the kind of mindset that you want? However, there are a bunch of pros to the 4% rule, in my opinion, living like this, right? So the market goes up, your living expenses are set in stone, right? You understand how much it costs to be you. So, like I said, market goes up, you take that cash. You take it while it's there. You got it. Boom. Yeah. Throw that shit in a high savings account. You don't have to worry about it. What happens if I lose my job? Dude, if you're young, you can always go back to work. You can always find a job and go get some job and go get an income, right? You
might want to anyway, just for surely something to do.
Yeah, dude, seriously, some people, they do this and then they find themselves becoming a bit of a hermit. And they find themselves going, I kind of like social interaction. I kind of, we're social creatures. We're humans, So what you end up doing is there's different types of fire, okay? So there's like lean fire. They call it lean fire, which is kind of what we're talking about, where you're like, you have to find out how much money it costs you to survive. And then you dip, you bounce, right? Mm-hmm. Then there's fat fire, where it's like, you're fucking cushioned, bro. You're just looking at tax advantaged everything. How do I lower my income taxes? Because I have so much cash flying in that I can just, I can now, no problem. And my biggest concern is capital gains taxes. Like this kind of shit where you're like, oh no, that's called fat fire. Then they have other things like barista fire, which I've heard about, where that's like, hey man, I just need a couple extra bucks. Plus I like talking to people, and Starbucks gives you healthcare. So I can work part-time at Starbucks and not worry I'm not worried financially, but I'm in it for the social interaction. I'm in it for the healthcare. Does that make sense?
Exactly. That would be like just to work at a golf course. Just to be the fucking guy having the time of his life. He gets paid $10 an hour, doesn't even care. He's just loving it.
Yeah. It's like the old guys that are just out there to, hey, man, I'm out here to get some fresh air, enjoy the sun, watch some guys hit the links. I'm right there with you. That sounds awesome. That sounds great. And you're not stressed about money because your money is just constantly rolling in. It's doing its thing, right? So that's a pretty cool pro, in my opinion. And then there's other different ways to think about your money. So you don't have to just save $1 million because there's other factors. Like if you already have an IRA, then you're going to be able to tap into that money at retirement age, right? Or a Roth. You already have that money set aside. So that's good on you, right? Or if you are going to be approaching retirement age, you're going to, as of now, you still have Social Security that you could factor in. You still have Medicare and Medicaid that you're going to be entitled to once you're of age, right? So you don't have to worry about health care after that or paying for health insurance. You have the Affordable Care Act that was passed in 2008 that's still around, that a lot of people in this movement, the fire and the 4% rule and all that shit, they took advantage of that because they can get health insurance for the first time when they are too young for Medicaid and they have too much money in assets, but now they can buy insurance from the marketplace. So there's ways to get around this. And then you have other people who say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go travel. And they do the geo arbitrage thing, right? They live in different countries where it's a lot cheaper. The health insurance is, the United States is really the only country where healthcare, it's the most expensive healthcare system in the world. No other place it costs this much money to get so shitty of healthcare. It's just, yeah, we're doing it backwards. Whether you think we should have universal healthcare or not, the life expectancy has dropped in the United States over like the last earlier, and we're paying more money for it. So it doesn't make sense. The way we're doing it doesn't make sense. Whether you think it should change in terms of like free healthcare, universal healthcare, single payer, blah, 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 blah. It needs to change one way or another. It needs to change because the way we're doing it is the most inefficient way. We are all paying stupid amounts of money and we're all dying earlier. So it doesn't make any sense what we're doing. So we'll see what happens here with healthcare. There's like 19 different factors that all play into it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Why does it cost?
There's not just one. Right.
$3,000 for a Band-Aid in a hospital. Like it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, like hospital, every hospital can charge differently. Insurance companies charge that, like that guy you met at the baseball stadium, arm and a leg. And then you have people without health insurance going into the emergency room and then just dip on the bill, and they're sticking that bill for everybody else insured. They're having to cover the prices. So something's got to give, man, because it's stupid. Wait till you have a kid, Pike. Wait till you have a baby here in the United States.
The cost of that is it high, would you say?
I'm not even talking about, yes. I mean, the cost of it is high, but it depends on your insurance and all that. But it also, you will not know how much it costs to have a kid. You know how weird that is? To go into something not knowing what is this going to cost me?
Right. You got to do it. You can't go like, no, I'm actually good. Thank you, though.
Yeah. It's like you need a car and you walk into a dealership and they hand you one and you're like, cool. And they're like, yeah, and here's the bill. And by the way, you got to take it. You're like, what? Wait, what?
Hey.
What is this? What are we doing here? Can you tell me how much things cost? Like, hey, this is how much it costs for the anesthesia. This is how much it costs for the wiping the baby down, changing the baby's diaper, the constant round-the-clock care, the coming in and monitoring heart rate and blah, blah, blah. C-section. Every other country can break this shit down into an itemized list.
But we can't.
Dude, Mitch Hedberg had that joke about getting a receipt for a donut. The stand-up comedian Mitch Hedberg.
I'm familiar. I just haven't heard that joke.
Oh, yeah. He's making fun of a guy going, oh, you want a receipt for a donut? We get a receipt for a donut, but not for a birth of a child, like a super expensive event. So, I don't know. I'm going on a tangent, but there you go. There's the 4% rule. What do you think, Pike? How do you feel about it? What do you think here? Are you changing your ways?
Well, once again, you got me. You got me excited about something. I think it seems like a very manageable, attainable financial goal.
Yeah.
Or task, I suppose. So yeah, I think I might. These are all. I'm taking all your ideas. I'm just kind of pooling them. I'm sitting with them for a little bit, and then I'm gonna attack.
You're gonna attack. You're gonna pounce. Yeah.
You're giving me the tools. I'm going to war.
Yeah, there you go. I love it, dude.
My finances.
I love the 4% rule. Again, it all depends on your situation. These are just arbitrary numbers. These are numbers we're just pulling out as an example. Maybe you need like 2.5 million in order to pull out. I don't know what that would be. That would be what's 4% of 2.5 million? Oh God, I was just trying to do it in my brain.
Jesus.
2,500,000 times 0.04. $100,000. So maybe you want to live off $100,000 a year post tax. You know?
Do I?
Then you need to save $2.5 million.
Easy.
Which, by the way, sounds like a lot of money, but over, 30 years or something, if you can save that, or if you can expedite that by cutting down your living expenses.
Right.
If you're married, you got another income. Your wife could work. You're now doubling that. You know what I mean? So it starts speeding up faster, and there's ways around it. But anyway, there you go. Okay. Are you thinking about leaving the country and just geo-arbitraging?
Well, you mentioned that, and that was the most exciting prospect. So maybe
go live in Thailand for a few months, then go live in Vietnam, and then jump over to Costa Rica, and then hey, Pike, where are you? Oh, I'm down here in the DR, baby. You're in the Dominican Republic? Hell yeah, it's cheap as fuck, bro. Beans, rice, plátanos. Oh.
Dude, I could raft over to Cuba. Not far from me.
Raft over to Cuba for their cheap ass healthcare, but very, very limited freedoms. But yeah, you could. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Pros and cons.
There's pros and cons everywhere. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, Stefano is here. He says to the Maldives, East Africa. He's laughing.
East Africa. Sorry about that. Haven't looked at a map lately.
Yeah. They're hard to find on the map. They're very small. All right. Well, there you go. There's the 4% rule. Check it out. See what you think. Mull it over. Let's get to the news that matters, shall we?
Okay.
Yes, this is the news that matters. Yes, this is the news that matters.
Holy shit.
So this woman, this is in Florida, she goes missing for 3 weeks. Okay, the last person who saw her was her boyfriend. They were swimming together in a canal down in Miami. She's not found for 3 weeks. She's dead, right? Like you're planning her funeral. You're going out saying, "Oh, we still have hope," but she's dead.
Dude, 3 weeks, dead. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
sad,
not just running around. Yeah, yeah. Well, plot twist: woman's still alive. They found her. You never believe where. In a storm drain underneath the street, living down there like the Ninja Turtles.
Get out of here. What?
Swear to God. She somehow, while swimming in these canals, found a tunnel, and she was like, what's this? So she goes in there, and then she finds another little tunnel, and she goes, what's this? And fast forward to 10 different, what's this? She's now found herself in the sewer, basically. No way to get out.
You idiot. So she's lost like a maze in a sewer.
Yep. Just kept going down tunnels, which I can't imagine even going into the first one.
Oh, God. Yeah. How terrible. Oh, dude. First of all, it just tells me that you're swimming in a shit-filled canal. Like, you're just swimming in shit canal. Like, essentially, it should be called colon canal, because that's what you are in. And now you're taking left turns farther up someone's ass.
So she's up in the ass, essentially, for 20 days until she saw some light. She's just walking around these tunnels, finally sees some daylight, goes towards it, and she can see the street. She can see little people walking by. So she starts screaming. Somebody found her and said, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yes, but just for God's sake, call the police." So they come and rescue her after 3 weeks. So you don't just live for 3 weeks without drinking water. So she's been drinking water, and you know exactly the water she was drinking. It's mixed with shit, and it's mixed with pips. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But amazing. It's a miracle.
3 weeks. How'd she go 3 weeks without food?
She was eating something.
Oh, get out of here. She's not just chomping on some.
Well, she didn't reveal that information in her exit interview from the sewer. But I'm sure she'll let us know eventually.
Was she just wandering around down there for 3 weeks, or did she stay in a spot for 3 weeks?
It said she was wandering. and then finally found daylight, I'm like, no, pretty sure I would find something before then, right? Don't you
3
feel confident?
weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was like, dude, that's like Lewis and Clark made it to the ocean in 3 weeks. And they left from St. Louis or whatever. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, how do you not find something? This woman, a lot of questions.
This woman's an idiot. I mean, there's no way around it. A lucky moron. That's this lady.
Yes.
Shit-eating lucky moron.
She went down there for the shit, I bet. She saw the tunnel. I bet I could, find some shit in here.
Eat shit and die. She's like, I tried. It doesn't work. Wow. Yes. Unbelievable. Dude.
Well, that's my tale for today.
Wow. This lady lives in a sewer. There's no way she's not getting out, From now on, she's a sewer lady, right? I mean, there's no way around it. Oh, mommy, look, what? That's the sewer lady. Like these kids in the grocery store that see her. I mean, you're never shaking her hand again, right? There's no way.
Oh, the boyfriend not going to touch her again?
No.
Not going to kiss her?
Oh, no way.
Shit mouth.
Yeah. Get that shit-eating grin off your face.
Oh, honey, you still have some poop in your teeth. Here, let me get it.
Disgusting. Good Lord. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would eat shit if I had to survive. I think we all would, right? We're not above that.
I would have to be knowing I was minutes away from death.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying,
I'm
looking forward to it. Yes, obviously, I'm saying I would have to be minutes away from death, too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying...
You're not saying the first day it's dinner time. Got to eat something.
Yeah. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. Good thing I always eat a Thanksgiving dinner before I go swimming in a canal.
Yeah, gross.
I love bringing my own leftovers. No. Of course, I would be minutes away from death. And I'm like, oh, no, well, let's come to this. But still, you do everything you can in order to survive, right?
You do?
Not just me. I'm saying everyone. Don't just blame this on me.
I know. I don't even know that. I guess I don't know that about you. But in general, I would say people do, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you for that horrific story. Appreciate it. Yeah, you led with a bad story. I mean, it was a great story, but it was sad. With a guy with no legs, no bottom half. The man who will never need a belt. And then you ended it with the lady who will never be touched again. That's it for the show. Make sure you follow him on all social media. It's at Pike Taylor Radio. He's a great guy. Great dude. God knows what his Google searches say. I'm at Sparks Radio on all social media. Make sure you're following me. I'd be happy to hear from you. If you got questions, if you ever want to chat, hit me up on Instagram. Send me a DM. That's basically where I'm at right now. We're gonna start answering some questions here on the whole show because we're starting to get a lot more here in the DMs, Pike, which is cool. So if you got some, let us know. And then if you liked this, if you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. All right, hit the thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. And if you can, tell a friend. That's the coolest thing you could do. So tell a friend, send them this episode. It's episode 385. So send them the episode. If you think they'll get a kick out of the 4% rule. And if you have any questions, let me know. That's it for the show. Any last things, Pike? Any last words?
Nope, not a single leg.
Show's over, motherfuckers.